Alright, this is part 4 of the Cinewhoop conversion series. If just a real recall, came up with a system to convert a traditional ducted Cinewhoop into using a BRAVO30 frame to do some dramatic weight reductions. And when I converted my one Cinewhoop down and put it on the scale, I targeted about 149 grams. It ended up about 46 grams. The idea is that we can then add a GoPro, full-size GoPro. In my case, it's a Hero 8, and getting the weight significantly down what it would be on the traditional ducted. So in my case, it ended up at 386 grams using a 4S 850 pack. Then what I wanted to do is I did do some test flying after I built it in part 2, and did some flying demo on part 3, and now I'm in part 4. I'm testing 3 different props, 3-inch props to fit on this, using the motors that I converted over from the Cinewhoop. So I've tested the 3030, the HQ 75 5-blade, and then the Gemfan D76 5-blade. The 75.5 is what the BRAVO uses on their BRAVO30 analog version, and then the D76 5-blade is what's used on the digital version of the BRAVO30. Now the only changes I've made since I did the build is I did design a bottom plate to cover up that bottom section underneath the frame, keep kind of dust and the dirt out. But then in the testing, the plan was to do a set of 3 flights with each of the props using a 3S 850 pack, and measure the throttle setting for hover and the duration of flight getting down to 3.5 volts per cell. Just flying in my house, pretty much cruisy flights, level flight, nothing fancy, to get good consistency using the 3 different props and put them to be able to compare them. Then I repeated that same set of tests using a recommended 4S 850 pack, and and the Hero 8 on board, and then was able to plot the results. So cutting to the results, I've got in the yellow here the tests that I flew without the camera. So it was a 204 gram weight quad, and I compared 4 props. I had a little set of cheapo 2.8 inchers and the 3 that I mentioned. And then if you look, the duration using the 3S 850 was very similar in the 610 to 620 minute range, and the throttle position on the cheapo was 48% position, and then down as little as 27% using the 5-blade D76 Gemfan props. Pretty interesting there. But then if you add on the larger battery pack, the 4S 850, and the GoPro Hero 8 on board, and testing the 3 props that I was interested in, which were the full 3-inch size, the 3030, you can see, didn't even lose a minute of time, while the other 2 dropped significantly down from where they were from the prior test. And in all 3 cases, the throttle position was in that high 30s, low 40 range. If we look at this on a chart standpoint, comparing those 3 props, you can kind of show in the blue the no camera duration in seconds, and then what the effect is when you add the Hero 8 to it. So it was kind of important. All 3 of these have basically about a 3-inch pitch on their props, and so it's interesting how the 3-bladed one obviously is more efficient, mainly because I think probably in the 5-blade cases, there's just too much turbulence that occurs between blades while it's spinning, and that causes loss of performance, even though they were a little bit quieter and they were seemingly to be a little more controllable. So I'm pretty satisfied with the testing. I think I'm going to stick with the 30-30 so I can get at least 5 minutes of flying with the GoPro. And then as I test out additional props, I might make a change later on, but right now this is my plan. Alright, thanks for watching.